All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining our call today. I am going to start off right away with just a couple of housekeeping items. Number one is that this webinar is being recorded. Please don't worry too much about taking copious notes, or if you miss something. Both the slides for this webinar as well as the recording will be available later on our website for you to reference as you need to. The second thing is we do appreciate questions. So no question is a bad question, but we do ask that you save them till the end. So we'll try our best to save about 15 minutes at the end for questions. And I'll ask that you use the chat function. So within Zoom, you'll see a bar on your screen with some different options. And if you click on, there's like 3 dots that say more, and then there's a chat that you can open. And so feel free to type your questions throughout the presentation there, but we will wait to the end to go through them. I'll read them aloud and our presenter will answer them. So with that, I'm going to go to our next slide here. So my name is Taylor Bowes. I'm the Program Administrator for NorCal Peacock. And our presenter for the day is Thomas Burns. He's a guest presenter from Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation. He's a business planning specialist for them. So we're lucky to have him this morning. Thomas, if you can hear me, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you. Hi, thank you. Looking forward to this presentation this morning. Quick history about myself. It's been exactly 20 years. I started in 2000 just doing outside sales work for an advertising company, which expanded into doing contract work for different magazine firms. And from there, I worked with a few people and we created a consulting firm, and it just kind of grew from there to doing more contract work, more working with small businesses from all over the different industries. And that led me into doing a great deal of business plans and still more sales work, more sales training and marketing planning for mostly startup firms or small existing firms that are trying to grow to the next level.
Great, thank you, Thomas. So who we are, so NorCal Peacock is a nonprofit organization. Our main goal is to help small businesses be successful in the government marketplace. We are primarily funded via a large federal grant from the Defense Logistics Agency, and then we also receive supplemental funding from other state and local sources. So what's great about that is that all of our services are completely free to our clients. You could say they're free, or you could say that you already paid for them via tax dollars. So this is a great free resource. Please take advantage of it. We are hosted by Humboldt State University Sponsored Programs Foundation. So our main office is on the campus in Arcata, California, but we have a very large service area, which I'll go over in a minute. So if you're not here locally, that's definitely okay. We serve a wide area. And then in fiscal year 2018-19, we actually were able to help our clients win more than $268 million in government contracts. So the way we talk about our services is that we kind of offer three core services. The first thing is one-on-one counseling. So the process is that you'd apply to be a client, and then we assign each of our clients to work with one of our procurement specialists. We have procurement specialists located all over the West Coast and throughout the United States, actually. And they'll meet with you virtually, so over the phone or via Zoom like we're doing right now, and they can do screen sharing and walk you through things. or we actually just launched some in-person office hours in the Bay Area, so that's another option. But with our one-on-one counseling, we pretty much help with everything having to do with government contracting, cradle to grave. So we can help you get set up with all the appropriate registrations you need, like getting a DUNS number, getting registered with SAM, etc. And then we can also help with all of the certification processes. So, you know, disadvantaged business enterprise, women-owned, minority-owned, anything like that, we can help you through all those processes. We also help with finding bid opportunities. We help with the bid submittal process, so we can review your bid, make sure that it's complete, and suggest ways to make it stronger, things like that. And then we help a little bit with contract compliance as well. We also do a ton of workshops and seminars, very similar to what you're attending right now. So we host webinars, workshops, large networking events. Those are all free as well, and they're all located on our website. We keep a very updated, constant list of all of our upcoming events there, so you can always go there and see what's coming up. And then I'll go over some, at the very end of this presentation, I'll kind of go over some upcoming ones that you should be aware of. And the third thing is that we do a bid matching service. So this is pretty cool. This is a service that we subscribe to. We pay an annual fee for it, and then we offer it to our clients for free. And what this is you would create a profile in this bid matching system, and the system scans federal, state, and local bid opportunities, and you'd be automatically emailed any that are relevant to you based on keywords that we assign to your business in the system. So here's our service area. Like I said, it's quite large. So we're located at Humboldt State University, which is up at the very top of this map, but we serve all the way down to Contra Costa County, all the Bay Area counties. And so if you're located in this green area, then you would potentially qualify to be one of our clients. If you aren't located in the green area there are other PTACs that can assist you. So PTACs is a national program, so they're all throughout the US, and there are also multiple PTACs in California. So if you're not within our service area, there is probably another PTAC that can serve you, and you're probably in their service area. So regardless, this is probably a program that your small business can take advantage of. How to apply for our services. It's pretty simple. You would go to our website, which is just www.norcalpeacock.org. On the home screen there, you'll see an Apply Now button. It's highlighted in red. You click on that, and it'll take you through an online application. It's not very long. It'll probably take you about 10 to 15 minutes, and it just lets us get some information about your business before we start working with you. It's a requirement from our funders that we collect that stuff. So once you do that, we'll get your application. We'll contact you within a couple business days and get you assigned to a procurement specialist if it's a good fit for you to work with us. And my last slide here before I introduce Thomas again and have him take over is this disclosure. Basically, this is just saying, you know, government procedures and systems are ever evolving. And so, you know, what we're telling you in this webinar is accurate to the best of our knowledge, but things do change. And so what we say now might not be the case in a couple of months from now. So I just want to say that up front. All right, Thomas, I will let you take it from here and go over the agenda for the rest of the webinar.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. All right, let's get started. This is what you're going to be, the information I'll be sharing with you today. Locating valuable information on prime contractors. I'm going to go over how you can find information on prime contractors with little to no cost using free websites. Becoming a valuable asset to prime contractors. I will be providing you with 5 key tips that you can follow that will help you build relationships with these contractors. Marketing to prime contractors. I will be sharing marketing strategies that fit the time and budgets for most small business owners. Tips and suggestions. Again, I'll be offering more information regarding marketing and networking. And finally, the important website links. So throughout this webinar, I'll be mentioning a variety of websites and resources. They'll all be listed on the page at the end. Next slide, please. Okay, locating valuable information. First off, I wanted to make sure you understand the meaning of prime contractor. My personal definition is broader than most business owners who are seeking prime contractors. Can everybody still hear me, please?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. To me, a prime contractor is any company large enough to use my specific services on a continuous basis for years. I want you to really appreciate the depth of services that you offer and see if you can also do business with, as an example, large IT firms, real estate developers, various large-scale manufacturers, large-scale agriculture, farming operations, or even the different pro sports teams and the families who own them throughout Northern California. Now, these are just a few examples of prime contractors located here in Northern California that can use your services. But let's say you have already identified some key companies that you do want to do business with, but you do not know the supplier diversity representative for the company, you don't know the purchasing agent or agents for the company, and you don't know how to find this information quickly. And I'm already assuming that you've already tried their website with no luck. So your next move is to use LinkedIn and various press release sites. By using LinkedIn, it may only take you an hour to find all of the decision makers you need for a particular company. Of course, you have to have an account with LinkedIn and you should have your very own profile. But for the most part, all large firms will have a profile on LinkedIn and they will list almost all of their employees. Top executives and everyone in between are usually listed on LinkedIn for most prime contractors. Now, let's say that you also want to focus on a specific industry as opposed to a specific company. Again, this can be general contractors or any kind of industry that you want to focus on. This is when venture capital, angel investor websites, and press release sites really do come in handy. Because without spending a dime and just committing a few hours of your time, you can learn which firms just received $20 million in funding, which firm just landed a new contract to build, as an example, maybe a facility for Apple, Intel, Marriott, so on and so on. Information is power. And if you're lacking a marketing budget, or if you have this information delivered to you on a weekly or daily basis, then this is how to do it really on a budget. But let's say you do have somewhat of a budget and you're willing to pay for information, then you can go with a company like Leads 411 or other lead generating firms. Now, I'll go into more detail about lead generating firms later on in the presentation. But for now, let's go to the next slide. Becoming a valuable asset to prime contractors. Again, this is really all about research. If you understand how you can be an asset to them, that really is the key. So first, you have already identified a few prime contractors that you want to build relationships with. And then second, you've identified decision makers within these firms. Now you want to learn as much as you can before you actually approach them via phone or email. Your initial conversation or email will have a better chance of being well received if you say things that truly do matter to them. Making sure you have identified some type of issue, problem, or opportunity that they're facing, it gives you a stronger opening to suggest a solution that you can offer. Now, of course, one of the first things a representative of any prime contractor will ask you is, have you completed the application for their own supplier diversity network? This is usually located somewhere on their website. So be sure to have completed that application first before you make personal contact, because from my experience, almost every prime contractor will have that supplier, their own supplier diversity network that you should go through, because they're going to ask you about it anyway. Now, here are some of the questions that you should be considering. What can you learn about the prime that can give you an opportunity? Are you aware of any upcoming business opportunities that they may not know of? And then how many ways can you be a key resource and ally to them? By doing really good research, you should be able to create opportunities for your services that they are missing. Maybe they're not aware of an opportunity with a firm that just received funding, or the important thing is that you are bringing something to the table other than just asking for an opportunity. Again, one of the biggest challenges when building the initial relationship is learning who really is the true decision maker for what you're trying to do. Every prime contractor is different. Sometimes it's the purchasing manager. Other times it's a manager over a specific department or service sector. You know, the larger the firm, the more confusing their leadership structure might be. So doing as much research and homework on the firm and asking very direct questions up front really is the key. And while it's never going to be an absolute guarantee that you won't waste some time dealing with the representative of the firm who really can't help you, the initial research is the best way to avoid this mistake. Next slide, please. Okay, successful marketing tips when going after prime contractors. Now, does anybody know what a referral mafia is? Simply put, this is when a project, event, or opportunity requires the services of many different components, and you are part of that group. Now, one of the best examples I can give you right now is a wedding mafia. The event planner works with the same DJ, catering firm, printer, limousine service, baker, so on and so on. Each company that's part of this referral mafia are committed to using each other's services whenever possible. So let's say you are in IT, you're in road construction, building construction, you're in marketing, you maybe have an electrical company or a plumbing company, or you do heavy equipment rental. You should create your own or become part of a referral mafia network. Over my 20 years, I have either started one or been part of different types of referral networks many times, and it's always been very valuable. It greatly increases your chances of working with firms and having access to prime contractors. Meaningful face-to-face meetings. Now, I added this to the presentation only because over my 15+ years of educating and training small business owners on marketing and sales, I find that many times my clients struggle with the face-to-face meetings. Or worse, they just show up expecting to meet with, let's say, a Sarah, and end up in a conference room with not only with Sarah, but Robert and other so-called executives. If you're not prepared, you might appear unprofessional or just confused because, you know, you're facing 4 or 5 and it's just you. So your message is that I'm going to give you right now is just be prepared for anything at these meetings. This is where, again, your research and creativity will pay off. Before the meeting, you want to try to find out who will be at this meeting and learn as much as possible regarding their expectations of you. Another winning strategy you can implement when doing face-to-face meetings is to always bring an associate who can provide professional support. Just having another team member with you can help you remove any of the pressure. They can contribute facts or points you may forget and helps to support your credibility. And finally, using newsletters, emails, and phone calls to build relationships is necessary, but again, it must be done correctly. Follow up when you have something very important to say. Sending newsletters and emails that have valuable information to share is really the key. If the overall message of your follow-up is just to ask when they're going to hire you, then you might be eroding that relationship instead of building it. Next slide, please. All right, tips and suggestions. So as you read these suggestions, it's very important that you spend the time really creating a plan that will work for your company and its capabilities. If you're a one-person operation, I want you to be realistic about what you can really do. Building and maintaining relationships with 10 or more prime contractors at the very same time may not really be realistic. On the other hand, say you do have a small staff of 5 people. Who you assign to help the company with its marketing is very critical. Are they qualified? Are they motivated? Can they communicate effectively via phone and email without you having to check each email and phone call that they make? You know, far too many times in my career, what I've seen is marketing is treated as an unnecessary function that anyone can do, when in reality, effective marketing is a skill, and taking the time to really implement it professionally or hire professionals is the best way to see results. And speaking of professionals, one of the most frequently asked questions I get is, where can I find marketing professionals that will work with me on a very limited budget? And my answer is technology and freelance marketing professionals. So if you're looking for, let's say, telemarketing people, or somebody to handle your email marketing campaign, somebody to do your social media marketing or website development and management, maybe even just doing marketing research for you, or hiring some direct outside sales reps. This can all be done using freelance professionals that may work within your community, or they could be located anywhere in the world. The ability to see references, interview these people, see the ratings from others who have used them, and even do the online payment services that helps guarantee a win-win relationship, that's all available using these other kinds of freelance sites. So without having to spend a whole lot of time, posting ads, going over their resumes, having multiple interviews over the phone, or working with a recruiting firm, you can use freelance websites that will do all of this for you. Again, even the issue of payment, hours worked, projects accomplished, or activities completed can all be done online, saving you time and money. Next slide, please. Okay, so important website links. So I'm going to start with the angel investment groups in California. Now, when you go to this link, it's going to take you to a directory of angel investors, and you can do a search based on industry. So as an example, let's say you want to target hotels. You want to do business with hotels. You can do a search of angel investors who focus their energy on investing in hotels or development projects. That will give you an idea of who's receiving funding within, let's say, Northern California from these different investors. It gives you a lot of information. And again, this is all free information that you can use. The 3 press release sites that are listed all have free memberships for limited services. Now, the Construction Association, this is just an example. For every industry out there, there's an association. If you want to do business with prime contractors, these sites will list networking opportunities. Sometimes, not all the time, but in rare occasions, those sites will also have a membership list available for free. But most of the time, you do have to be a member before you can access that kind of information. Marketing professionals and other freelance experts. Now, these 3 that I've chosen are because I've either personally used them or I've worked with clients who have used them in the past. But they all have hundreds of freelance professionals with their profiles, examples of work, reviews available for you to check out. And these sites make it easy to hire part-time or full-time for either a specific project or for full-time work. Lead generating sites. So you heard me mention Lead 411, but another great lead generating site for small business owners is Duns and Bradstreet. The prices are affordable and they're based on the amount of leads you are seeking. So you can really customize what you're looking for that can fit your budget. So this is the end of my presentation. It went kind of fast, but I wanted to really thank you for your time, and I hope this webinar has provided you with some information that you can use immediately and be effective with it. Hello, Taylor? We missed the capability statement.
Sorry, everybody. I was muted and trying to unmute myself. So thank you, Thomas. I'm going to go back a couple slides here. So before we jump into questions, I just have a couple slides to go over first. First thing is our upcoming networking opportunities. So this is something Thomas mentioned. Networking and face-to-face meetings are absolutely essential when developing relationships with prime contractors. And I just wanted to go over a couple of these opportunities we have coming up. These are two of our biggest events of the year. The first one is a 2020 NorCal Gov2Biz Matchmaker event, and that's going to be in Santa Rosa on April 2nd. You need to pre-register for this event, fill out some questions about your business, and then we will match you to the various government agencies that will be there, and you'll be able to have scheduled one-on-one meetings with different government agencies and prime contractors. So great opportunity to develop relationships there. And then the next one is our 2020 NorCal Procurement Expo, which will be in San Ramon on May 29th. We will have a ton of different government agencies, prime contractors, and other resource partners there exhibiting, and it's a great chance to walk around, introduce yourself, and meet a lot of those agencies you might be interested in working with. Again, we'd like you to pre-register for that. Both of these are on our website, so just go to our website. We have an events calendar, and you can register directly from there. Next, I just wanted to mention capability statements. This is something that Thomas didn't go over, but it's kind of just a basic, essential thing that when you're developing relationships with prime contractors, government agencies, really anyone in the government contracting world, you want to have a capability statement or statement of qualifications created. It's basically a resume for your business, if you're unfamiliar with it. It's a one-page, either front or front and back document. And we offer a free template for anyone to use. That's located on our website, and I've provided a link there. And then we've also recorded a webinar in the past detailing how to write a capabilities statement, and I've also included that link for you. So if you are, attending networking events, if you go to either of those two events I just mentioned, or even if you're emailing somebody that you're trying to develop a relationship with, it's always a great idea to bring your capability statement, attach it to emails. It can kind of be thought of as almost like a more detailed business card. It's a great way to introduce yourself, and it really lets an agency or a prime contractor know that you're on top of it, that you have this essential document. And it's a good sign to them. So, and that's another thing that we provide free counseling on, by the way. All right, now we will go into questions. So please use the chat box, but if you can't figure out how to access the chat box, go ahead and just unmute yourself and ask a question, because I want everyone's questions to be addressed. So with that, I do see one question already. It says, hi, Thomas, thank you for the presentation. Can a young company that has been in business for 3 to 6 months work with or win business with prime contractors?
So my answer would be yes, it's possible. Again, you've got to bring something to the table. So when you do the research that I talked about in this webinar, and you really focus on finding an opportunity that you can offer that prime contractor, you do have a great chance of doing business with them. The prime contractor is more concerned with your management and what you can do for them versus how long you've been in business. So I hope that answers your question. Yes, you can have that opportunity to work with any prime contractor. It really depends on what information you can find out that will give you an edge against your competing small businesses that also want to do business with them.
Okay, and I noticed that I skipped over one, so sorry about that. Someone said, how will you be able to match us? I'm guessing that you're asking about the matchmaking event I mentioned, in which case how we will match you is when you go to register for the event, you'll be asked a series of questions about your business. So we'll ask you to tell us all about the services and products that you provide. And we also ask all the government agencies and prime contractors who are attending to do the same thing. And so it's a very complex, complicated way we do it on the back end, but essentially we match up government agency and small business services and needs. And that's how we match you. Okay. How do we request a recording of this webinar and the PowerPoint slides? Like I said in the beginning, they'll be posted to our website, and we're pretty good about doing that in a timely manner. So probably within the next couple of days, they'll be posted to our website. And if you'd like a copy immediately, feel free to reach out to the phone number or the email address on the slide there, info@norcalpeacock.org, and we'd be happy to email you the slides. Any other questions? I think we have one more. Is Boeing or Lockheed an example of a prime contractor?
Yes, Boeing and Lockheed are examples of prime contractors. They definitely will have their own supplier diversity network on their websites. So you will have to go through there before, but again, you also want to take a part of any information or any of the small business opportunities that NorCal presents to help you with that. But yes, that's an example of a prime contractor.
And I just want to add too, so Thomas kind of gave a really broad definition of prime contractor in the beginning, but what the PTAC normally uses and kind of in a general understanding in the government contracting world is that a prime contractor is simply any business that has a direct contract with a government agency. So the two options are either you're a prime contractor or you're a subcontractor. Prime contractors contract directly with the government agency, and subcontractors contract with prime contractors. So you're kind of a level down, and that's helpful. You know, prime contractors are usually very large because direct contracts with government agencies are very large. We're talking multiple millions of dollars, and so they're the ones who have the capacity to have that direct contract. And then subcontractors, which is probably a lot of you on this call, you don't have the capacity, understandably, to go after those huge multi-million-dollar contracts, and so you'd want to hook up with a prime contractor and have a subcontractor so that you're only responsible for a a subsection of that larger contract, if that makes sense. Okay, next question. For a business that can work with many industries, do you have any strategies for understanding which industries to target first?
I'll say it this way. When you're looking at your business model, one of the questions you want to ask yourself is, who do I want to do business with and why? If you say you want to do business with as many companies as possible, but you're a small business with limited resources, your ability to network, market, and really produce sales to a wide variety of large companies or prime contractors is limited. So ideally, you want to focus your marketing towards a few. Now, how do you choose which industry or which type of prime contractor to go after? Again, it's going to be based on, first ask that question. Who do you really want to do business with and why? Maybe you're looking for the long-standing relationship from one industry versus a faster turnaround time for another. Let me try to give you a quick example to try to help you understand what I mean. One industry, it might take you 6 to 8 months to build a relationship with, but once you do, you could see having consistent revenue from them for years. Whereas another industry, it might take you 30 days to build a relationship with, and sales may happen immediately, but it's a one and done kind of sale. So you make the sale and they don't need your services maybe for another year. Whereas another industry, they may use you every single month. So what's key for your business? And depending on the kind of business you have, if you're in the accounting field and you're looking at doing business every single month with a client, then it might take you a little bit longer to build that relationship with. But if you're selling a product and you're looking for somebody to just buy your product, then that may happen very sooner. And, you know, that relationship might not be as solid.
Okay. So then next question, somebody asked, as a small business, should we work through Prime Contractor or should we work directly with military or government, and why? I'm going to just say something, and then Thomas, you can add if you'd like. That's a really hard question to answer without knowing more specifics about your business. I see you did just submit your revenue is $3 to $4 million. It still depends on what type of work you're going for exactly. You know, in general, we say that if you're a small business, it's easier to start out in the government marketplace going after subcontracts instead of prime contracts. Because the work is more manageable. You might not have the capacity yet to go over those larger contracts. However, it's not unheard of, and it does happen that small businesses do get prime contracts depending on what the contract and work is and all that kind of stuff. So for that question, really, I would want you to apply to be a client probably and get you assigned with one of our counselors so we can really learn the details about your business and see what a good opportunity is. That also reminds me to say that one of the services we provide is helping with market research. So if you become our client, one of the first steps is that we will help you do market research to determine, do government agencies buy what you sell? If so, which ones, how much do they buy, and that kind of a thing. So that'll help you narrow down to what kind of contracts to go after. Thomas, do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I would just add that if you want to go after military contracts, another good idea is to actually be a part of associations that maybe veterans or other organizations might have an edge and give you some insight into military contracting. Again, it's about information and learning as much as possible before you make a firm decision. A lot of small businesses, they jump into something and they don't have enough information first.
Great. Okay. Are we allowed to partake in other regional PTAC events if we aren't based in the state? For instance, we aren't in California. Yes, anybody from the public is allowed to participate in our events. However, you would not qualify to be a client. So you wouldn't be able to do the one-on-one counseling, et cetera, but you could definitely attend our events. That being said, I mentioned at one point that PTACs it's a national program, so there's PTACs all over the United States. So I would suggest to find the PTAC near you. If you do a simple Google search and type in "find my PTAC," it's usually like the first link that comes up. There's a website where you can enter in your state, and it'll show you all the PTACs located in your state. And I would urge you to reach out to the PTAC near you. We all provide very similar services, so there could be great events happening closer to you. How do we make appointments to have one-on-one counseling? So first, you would apply to be a client via our website. So go to www.norcalpeacock.org. On the home page, there's an Apply Now button. It'll take you through an online application. And once we receive that application, we will contact you within 2 business days and get you connected with one of our counselors. And from there, you would start the one-on-one counseling. There was another question I skipped over about how to find out who the prime contractors are in your area outside of California. I kind of answered that a second ago, and I would urge you to contact your PTAC and they can help you through that process. Thomas, do you have any other suggestions?
I think you want to ask yourself more about what industry you want to do business with, because prime contractors exist in all industries. Again, my definition is kind of broad. It's a large company that can do business with you for a very long time. And yes, small business can also, but a large company may have 20 different locations. So they have headquarters here in, as an example, San Francisco, and they have 25, 30 locations throughout the United States. You're in a position to do business with every single location. How do you make that happen? That's my idea of a prime contractor. And again, they exist in every industry. So focus based on your industry you want to do business with.
Okay. If you find PTAC from San Diego that has trainings in building structure within your business and learning of taxes information, is it possible to request to have a similar training in Northern California? Or is it suggested to traveling to learn from other PTAC organizations? Good question. So all the PTACs in California, we definitely play nicely with each other. We're partners. And so, yeah, if you're located in our service area, but you see something that another PTAC is doing, definitely mention it to us, and we'll try our best to, either do a similar training or get you hooked up with the information you need. We're always looking for suggestions on what kind of trainings we can do, what kind of events, and so we definitely love that feedback. Right, I'm seeing some thank yous. You're very welcome. We very much enjoy putting on these webinars. It's a great way to reach as many people as we can to offer this free information. So we'll be continuing to do these, and keep looking at our website. We also have a monthly newsletter that goes out, so hopefully you're receiving those, and if not, reach out to us and we can get you on our newsletter mailing list. Anything else? Okay, I'm not seeing any more questions. Someone said, can you email the recording to us? Potentially, it's going to be a really large file. We don't normally email the recording, we just post it to our website. But if for some reason, we can think about that, but feel free to reach out to us and ask. Yeah, we can definitely send you the link. So once it's on our website, we can email the link to the webinar. Again,